The Puma Forever Run is marketed as a high cushion, light stability daily trainer. But over the miles, that's not exactly what I got. It's time to lace up the Forever Run one more time and talk about it after 100 miles. Yo, what's going on? My name is Kofuzi and I'm a non-elite runner who reviews running shoes here on YouTube. And today I want to talk to you guys about the Puma Forever Run Nitro after 100 miles. But before I do want to go over some disclosures. This is a pair of shoes that Puma sent to me for the purpose of review, so I did not have to pay for these shoes. However, nobody's paying me to make this video or to include their shoes in this video, and no one's gonna get a chance to preview any of my footage or my thoughts before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. So with that disclosure out of the way, let's talk about the Puma Forever Run Nitro after 100 miles. And for these update videos, I like to talk about how I've been using the shoe in case that's changed, how the shoe's been holding up, and then I'll get into some pairing options and the buyer's guide. First, let's talk about how I've been using the shoe. Initially, I used it as a recovery run shoe. I normally am very sensitive to stability shoes. They disagree with my body quite a bit. I don't really review stability shoes or even test them all that often, but this shoe was described to me as something that is light stability for people that need it. And if you don't need it, you shouldn't really be noticing it all that much because of the way that it's achieving its light stability. They're using geometry, a much wider heel, and they are using some plastic elements to kind of like give you a little bit of almost like a high top, if you want to think about it that way, but around the bottom of your ankle and heel. So here they have an asymmetrical piece of plastic that's going to help keep everything locked into place, and combine that with just an extra stout base in the back here that's very wide that helps distribute any sort of imbalances that may happen every time your foot hits the ground. And for me, initially, I kind of felt it a little bit. It kind of felt a little bit clunky in the back of the foot, but otherwise it felt like a pretty comfortable shoe. I was enjoying the kind of like 2 layers of foam in this shoe. They have both supercritical nitro foam layers, but there's a firmer white foam that's in here that is kind of the shell or carrier, and that also serves as kind of guide rails to further stabilize the foot. And then there's a softer nitro foam insert that's in here to give you cushion, but also it sits inside, so that way your foot lands inside and stays within kind of a rail type of system. And that was pretty comfortable, but overall it felt a little clunky, and the fit of the upper felt a little bit baggy. However, as I eased into the shoe a little bit more, I started to really turn around in terms of what I was feeling in the shoe. I think that the blue layer settled in a little bit more than this kind of white traditional nitro foam layer normally would. And so the ride became much more smooth and comfortable as my foot kind of like was now working very well with the blue layer of foam that you can kind of see through the holes that are in the bottom of this midsole. But everything was starting to fit in really well. And so that combined with the upper materials kind of molding to my feet a little bit, which shoes can sometimes do over time, I started to feel like this was just a really comfortable shoe that I found myself reaching for on days when I wanted just a little bit of extra comfort. So I was using it much more as a max cushion and recovery run shoe, and I found myself really looking forward to running in the Forever Run. So it's a shoe that I enjoyed more and more as the miles wore on. And speaking of the miles wearing on, let's talk about how the shoe's been holding up. I think the foam is settling in well. I'm not sure exactly what mileage it took for me to kind of hit the sweet spot of the shoe, but I'm squarely within it right now, and the foam feels fantastic. And so I do worry a little bit because of the fact that the foam did change from 0 to 100 miles, that what happens as we get from 100 to 200 miles and 200 to 300 miles, but still overall, even with the shoe settling in and changing quite a bit over that first 100 miles, I don't anticipate that it's going to continue compressing and settling in at such a quick rate, because I feel like it's been kind of steady and giving me what it's giving me for a little while now. And then moving to the upper, the shoe has molded to the shape of my foot just a little bit and is showing very few signs of wear and tear. The rubber tread on the outsole is showing very little wear, and the overall outsole system is providing a great amount of traction and grip. Now let's talk about some of the pairing options if you wanted to build a rotation that included the Forever Run Nitro. If you're using that for your easy run and your recovery run days, then you're gonna need something for those faster days, those maybe light workout sessions, and that's gonna be my favorite shoe from last year, the Puma DVA Nitro 2. This shoe has a layer of Nitro Elite foam, as well as the same kind of white Nitro foam in the heel here, but it does have a carbon fiber plate. So if you wanna pick up the pace a little bit, or even take it for some workouts, this is a shoe that's gonna be happy to accommodate, and it's got a nice, comfortable daily training style upper, so it can handle a heavier workload. But then when it comes to those biggest, most important workouts and your races, the shoe that I enjoy most right now from Puma as far as racing goes is a Puma Fast R2. It's an unusual design of a shoe with a decoupled heel and forefoot, and it has changed substantially from its first iteration. And this year, I am absolutely loving what they put together with the shoe. For me, it's ideal for threshold effort, a little bit faster than half marathon pace for a lot of workouts, but it's certainly a shoe that I also think can handle long runs really well and also go the marathon distance. So these three shoes together will make for a really nice triplet of shoes to take you through an entire marathon training block. Now let's talk about the buying guide and some alternatives. The Forever Nitro started out at $150, but it's been out for a while now, so you can find it on a substantial discount. I've seen it as low as 60 bucks on the Puma website, and that's gonna be a very difficult price to beat if you're looking for a shoe that's gonna be good for easy runs, chill runs, recovery run efforts as well. Let's take a look at some of the competition. The first shoe that I'm gonna compare it to is the Brooks Ghost Max, which is a lot like the Ghost, but it has more stack height and a softer foam. And it also has a very wide footprint all throughout the shoe to give you a little bit of that light type of stability. The Brooks Ghost Max also comes in at a retail price of $150. And then the other shoe that I'm gonna recommend that you take a look at if you're interested in the Forever Run Nitro is going to be from Saucony, and that's the Saucony Triumph. I have the RFG version, but you can go with the Saucony Triumph 21. These shoes are a little bit on the thicker side, and the Saucony daily trainers tend to have a little hint of stability built into their shoes, which sounds a lot like what's going on with the Forever Run Nitro. Right now, the Saucony Triumph RFG and 21 both come in at $160, so you'll be paying a $10 premium. But of these three, because the Forever Run Nitro is on sale, I'm going to push people that way, because $60, like I said, is going to be a really tough price to beat. And the thing to keep in mind for right now is I had a chance to preview what's coming up with the next Forever Run, and I feel like they're going to push that shoe a little bit more into the stability category. So if that is something that dissuades you, like it dissuades me, I'd say pick up the Forever Run Nitro now while you still can. So those are my thoughts on the Forever Run Nitro after 100 miles. Let me know in the comments if you have other questions, or better yet, stop by the live stream I do Monday through Friday over on the Kofuzi Run Club channel. I'd love to talk to you guys over there in the chat. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?